Good
evening, everyone. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending such notice to Asbury Park Press, the Middletown Patch, and the Middletown Township Public School District website, and the posting of such notice at the Bogus T. Minor Administrative Offices in elementary, middle, and secondary school district. Roll call.
Mrs. Caminiti. Here. Mrs. Farley. Here. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Here.
Mr. Heffernan.
Here.
Mrs. Finley. Here. Mr. Pope.
Here.
Mrs. Wright. Here. Mrs. Tobacco. Here. Mr. Capone.
Here. Need a motion for executive session to be matters on special education, pay update, and personnel matters.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
No. Good evening, everyone. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending such notice to the Asbury Park Press, the Middletown Patch, and Middletown Township Public School District website, and the posting of such notice at the Boulder C minor administrative offices in each elementary, middle, and secondary school. Roll call.
Mrs. Cannavati? Here. Mrs. Farley? Here. Mr. Fitzgerald?
Here.
Mr. Heffernan?
Here.
Mrs. Muniz? Here. Mr. Toll?
Here.
Mrs. Wright? Here. Mrs. Tobacco? Here. Mr. Capone?
Here.
Ms. Wheelan? Here. Mr. Pankowski?
Here.
Please stand for the pledge.
One nation. Liberty, justice.
We have a proclamation this evening. It's National Principal Month. To all principals, we say thank you very much for everything you've done. Congratulations. We also have National Custodial Workers Recognition Day. Congratulations to everyone and thank you for all you do. And now we start with our student speakers. We have Aiden Commissaro from High School North.
Seem to have trouble this time, right? Good evening, everyone. Campaigns are well underway for High School North student body election. The voting process set for Friday, October 22nd. The candidates are Brandon Chisano for president and Kayla Bonte for vice. Ryan Miller for president and Abby Slover for vice. We genuinely appreciate these candidates' leadership and look forward to the remaining weeks of this important race. The 1983 High School North football team, which won the NJSIAA Group 4 state championship, was recognized for this accomplishment along with compiling a record of 30 wins and 2 losses from 1981 to 1983 before last weekend's home game at Army Trek Stadium. Our boys soccer team advanced to the semifinals of this year's highly competitive conference play following the victory in the Tom East. We will compete against CBA and Neptune tomorrow night. Our advanced TV and film production class film correctors on campus are in the first place winning Best Student Short at Atlantic City Cinefest, which occurs on Saturday, October 14th. George Wade, our outstanding marching band and color guard, earned second place during its first competition of the year at Piscataway High School. Respect Week features a series of community-wide themes, activities, and lessons that emphasize the value of kindness across our campus. And concluded with the random acts of kindness raffle. And the winners were Kate Lipinski of 9th, Kylie Jankowski of 10th grade, and Floyd Beta of 12th. Senior Ella Gigante participated in the physics and mathematics related research project at Monmouth University, demonstrating the passion for learning that is evident throughout the school community. Our School North's Spring Referral Program celebrates students' positive action and contributions across the campus. Student members identify students who demonstrate kindness, compassion, respect, and leadership throughout the learning community. So far this month, the following individuals have been recognized for upholding and modeling these ideals. They are Colin Brown, Josiah Stephanie, Casey Cantria, Jason Court, Julia Demeglio, Dean Oliver, Austin McKnight, Katie Kaiser, Isabel Caballos, Angelina Martinez, Ryan Day, Logan Granum, and Patrick Devine. Senior Alan Campo utilized his skills in graphic design class to create a t-shirt honoring veterans for their service to our country. It was featured in NJ Spotlight News. High School North will host a homecoming on November 17th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the cafeteria. The homecoming bonfire, which also features the recognition of all fall athletes in the stadium. It's scheduled for Tuesday, November 21st from 6 p.m. to 8. Our annual Thanksgiving football prep rally is set for Wednesday, November 22nd in preparation for the traditional festival and festive Northwest South Cape. Rehearsals for It's a Wonderful Life, our fall play, are continuing, and we look forward to this highly anticipated production. The performance schedule is Friday, November 17th at 7 p.m. and Saturday, November 18th at 7. Lions Roar, High School North's online student newspaper, includes relevant campus-wide stories and highlights outstanding achievements throughout our community. Its link is emailed to staff and community members every Friday, and it's also available on our website. All our fall sports have qualified for postseason play. We're having a successful season. School store is fully stocked with inventory and staffed every day during open block. Head the Pride Award winners, which is our student and staff member of the month recognition program, will be honored on Friday, October 27th. That's it. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next we have Jake Dembowski. Jake, you can stay there if you like, or we can speak to Mike.
Was dates correct, Mr. Cullen, on the play and the,
What did we say, night?
16th is the
okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Cullen.
Hope everyone's well tonight. The fall sports teams continue to turn in strong performances as the regular season winds down. Senior cross-country runner Rosie Shea broke the school record at Homedale Park with a time of 18 minutes and 29 seconds. The team recently finished in second place overall at the Monmouth County Championship. The gymnastics team, led by senior captain Emma Gentile, currently holds an undefeated record of 9-0 as they head into the short conference and state championship. The boys soccer team recently defeated CBA, who was the #1 ranked team in the state. Short conference and state tournament play is underway for some sports and will continue over the next few weeks. Just as a reminder, the Middletown South Eagles Hall of Fame will be holding their 6th induction on October 21st at Jock's in Middletown. 9 former athletes, 1 former coach, and athletic directors, and 3 teams will be introduced at the football game on October 20th, and then formally inducted in a front ceremony on the 21st. PSATs were administered on October 11th. I can say everything went smoothly after some bugs worked out on college board's end. Mr. Lawson met with the student council officers and senior executive board to discuss plans for the school year and upcoming events. Superintendent forum went well with representatives of each grade. Thank you to Ms. Alphone. The students are looking forward to the next roundtable meeting. Ms. Balistri's Holocaust, Genocide, and Modern Humanity class is holding a food drive that will benefit Fulfill Food Bank to assist Middletown families in need. Congratulations to Mid-South homemakers, Luke Savini, Christian Gazone, Isabella Camion, Grace Wilson, Kate Cashin, and Kristen Prepper. 2 of their films, Between and The Last Call, were selected as finalists to be screened at this year's Barrymore Short Film Festival in Fort Lee, New Jersey on October 14th. Between took 2nd place in the student category out of a field of over 20 films from around the globe. Congratulations, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, we're going to turn to Mr. Kirkpatrick for our student safety data systems update.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing our student safety data system information from the 2022 to 2023 school year. We're also going to go over our HIB self-assessment scores from last year as well. We'll start with the SSDS information. Twice a year, schools are obligated to the state to submit incidents that result in students being removed from the school program. The column on the right are the incidents from last year, and the column on the left or in the middle are incidents from the 21-22 school year. I think that it's important for us to recall that we were still under some protocols related to COVID during the 21-22 school year. Therefore, there's some discrepancies with the numbers between the two different school years. Last year, we had 49 incidents of violence, 1 incident of vandalism, 23 incidents of substance use or possession, 5 weapon possessions, and 94 confirmed HIVs. Now, you'll see the next row are other incidents. Those are incidents that don't fall into those first 5 categories, but still resulted in a child's removal from school program. There were 264 of those, and there were 371 total HIV investigations during the 22-23 school year. You'll also notice that the state only tallies the first 5 categories: violence, vandalism, substance, weapons, and HIV confirmed. That's where you get the number of 172 incidents for last year and 132 incidents from the year before. We'll just leave that up for 1 more minute for you to take a look at. Digest. Mr. Rotolo? So schools are also obligated to fill out a HIB self-assessment every year. The anti-bullying specialist works with a school climate team, looking at a variety of indicators that address programs, initiatives, trainings, curriculum, personnel, investigations, reporting, among other things. So the anti-bullying specialist sits with the school climate team, they go over these indicators, and they rate themselves. You can give yourself a rating of 0 to 3 on each indicator. The 0 would mean that you don't meet the requirement at all. 1 is partially meeting the requirements, 2 is meeting the requirements, and 3 would be exceeding the requirements. It should be noted that if you got a 2 on every indicator, your score would be a 52, and the total grade that anyone could get would be a 78. The next page will show you the HIB scores that are going to be submitted to the state after they're voted on this evening for each school in the district. Okay, and that's all the information we have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Moving on to our committee reports, we're going to start with curriculum and instruction. Mrs. Harley.
This week, this month, a lot of just informational things about what's going on in the district. Obviously, we're still in the beginning of the school year, a lot of things underway. One thing to note, we're going to be conducting a survey with our Arts Academy students to just determine whether the current Arts Academy structure is the best way to deliver specific instruction in the arts, or we might be able to restructure it a bit to be able to give students the opportunity to explore additional arts beyond just their narrow focus with their current structure. So that's where we can go out. The iReady results did go home to everybody in grades K through 2. So hopefully parents have been able to access those and discuss with their classroom teachers if they would like. There was a elementary literacy presentation that went out to the PIC committee, which I understand was very well received and has a lot of information about. There's a lot of new things going on with literacy programs in the district. So definitely reach out to your PIC representatives to get more information about that if you're interested. And I think that's it.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to student services, Ms. Powell.
Thank you. Yes, we also met on October 12th. Number of informational items, but a few highlights that I'll touch on. For one, cell phone explainers. We have a staff member in the district who's a certified art therapist, and the services that we're able to be deployed not only in the school she's based in, but also throughout the district. Development in terms of the service. Also, we learned that we have 2 different summer programs that are out there: the extended school year program and the SOAR program, summer opportunities for academic readiness. Certain students, like those who are eligible for resource replacement or ICO programs, but aren't necessarily eligible for extended school year. We're kind of missing opportunities for some extended work in the summertime. So the SOAR program is going to be supplemented now with teachers, staff with special ed certifications and paraprofessionals. So those resource replacement and ICR students will have an opportunity for hopefully summer options. Yeah, that was a nice development. That's all.
Great, thank you. Moving on to facilities and finance, Mrs. Dory.
Our committee also met on October 12th. Two of the items that we went over are items that are on the agenda this evening. One of them is our annual comprehensive maintenance plan report and one submissions. Those are required documents due by November 15th to the county office each year. The purpose of these documents is to make sure the district is budgeting properly for required maintenance, and also that we do not have an excess amount of funds put away in the maintenance reserve. We are far from the ceiling on them. We demonstrate that we are budgeting so districts don't shortcut maintenance. And we also talked about the continuing work on the high school north field and track project, and at this point, the administration and the committee are looking at doing a purchase from a cooperative proposal for the turf, and then putting out to bid the installation of the track and also the drainage work. So we are finalizing the selection of the turf to be purchased off the cooperative, and then the rest of our specs will be tailored to accommodate that turf and also to take into account any other work that needs to be done. So we are planning on having that out shortly, and for the board to be able to award both of those contracts either late this year or very early in 24, so that we can get the project going for the summer. We also talked about the application for stabilization aid that the district submitted. That was due October 5th. Tonight will be the resolution on the agenda for the board to approve that, which we need to also supply to the DOE to make that application complete. We did apply for approximately $3.4 million in aid. We will see what the district ends up being awarded based upon the review of our application. Last year, we applied for a similar amount and received about $1.9 million on the application. So we will be waiting to see, although the pool of the funds is smaller this year, so we're not sure how that will impact us. We also have on the agenda the approval of 2 athletic rental contracts, one for the Raritan Bay YMCA for our swimming program. The total costs and practices anticipated for this year is $22,009.50 to give the board a frame of reference. Last year it was in $25,000 range, so that has not increased for this year. We also have a contract on the agenda for Middletown Sports Complex for ice hockey. The rates for the use of the ice are the same as they were in 22-23, no increase. We also have the approval of some transportation jointers. Those are for homeless students, and we are required to provide them transportation. Lastly, we reviewed with the committee some transportation overview information that we shared with PIC, and we shared that with our committee as well. And we just really gave everyone an overview for a refresher for those of you who might be more familiar with the number of students we transport, the makeup of those students, and the procedures we go through to procure transportation and all of those things. So that was included with the report for this meeting on the board portal, and also provided. And that's all.
Just going back to stabilization aid, last year, I believe it was $45 million pool, which is, I think this year is approximately $20 million pool. So it's more than half.
Right.
We'll see what happens and hopefully we get to.
As soon as I know, you'll know.
I appreciate that. Moving on to public comment on agenda items only. Yes, I'm sorry.
Your report that you did. So those are numbers and stuff. Am I correct? The higher the number is, the better it is?
Correct.
What are we doing to bring that up? What particular school?
there's been an action plan that's developed with the administrator and the team of all the members of the school finance. I
And
think it's important to note, though, that although the number is lower, it still meets expectations.
yes, I saw that. It was above 52. Can you give us an idea of where they didn't meet well?
There's many indicators on that document, so, I don't want to go into too much detail because I wouldn't be accurate in telling you exactly where the numbers might not have been exceeding. I can tell you that last year, some buildings had more hidden investigations than others. And that one particular building had more investigations than the other middle schools did. And those investigations were time consuming and may have resulted in, some of those indicators being graded lower. That being said, they've identified some areas overall related to HIP that need improvement. And that was the crux of the development of the action plan. So we're hoping with that implementation next year, the number will go back up. But I wouldn't feel comfortable talking about individual indicators. There's so many on the document.
Okay, I just didn't know how to ask how much you could say. Thank you.
That's about all I can say.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to public comment on agenda items only. Anybody wish to make a comment, please step to the microphone, state your name, address for the record. Stepping forward, I'm going to close the public comments portion. Move on. Just a few things that I believe actually the big hit on Aiden was the soccer team actually this week on the 18th, the boys are playing in Summerfield Elementary at 6:30, which is tomorrow. And on the 19th, the girls are playing at 6:30, Summerfield Elementary as well. That is a semifinal. So proud of both of them, and that is the North boys and the South girls. And, that's it. Moving on to the superintendent report, Mrs. Alpo.
Great, thank you. So the first thing is that I'm happy to announce that this month was the first month we started our new employee recognition program across the district. While we do celebrate our staff and educators of the year at the conclusion of the school year, we have started recognizing teachers and other staff members across the district from each of our buildings and from also the various units like our custodial staff, our central office team. I think we have a mindset of celebrating accomplishments continuously and then getting right back to work. But I think it's important that we continue to recognize individuals who are, in the trenches every day, doing work and working with our students, whether it's beautifying the building, working with a student in a classroom, fixing or getting out a Band-Aid in the nurse's office. I think it's important for spreading that positivity and recognizing people for their work. So we published those names in the newsletter that came out last Friday. We also will hang their names in the central office administrative building, and we have a little token of appreciation for them that we sent. So it's a nice little program, and we hope that the momentum for that keeps going. I had the opportunity to attend a very special event at Thorne this past week. I and many others here had the pleasure of witnessing the 99th birthday celebration of Anita Thorne Rochelle Kaiser. Thorne Middle School was actually named for her brother, Corporal Horace M. Thorne, who fought in the Battle of the Bulge and received the Medal of Honor for his bravery. It was amazing. Mrs. Smith did an outstanding job in conjunction with Mr. Capone and our mayor and the police department in organizing a massive happy birthday celebration where all the students of Thorne sang to her. She had a cake, and she's quite a active and energetic 99-year-old. So she had the best time, and we were really, really fortunate for her to be able to share some words of wisdom with our students. And it was just a really, really touching and wonderful ceremony. So thank you to the students of Thorne and Mrs. Smith, because they really rolled out the red carpet literally for her. It was fantastic. As one of the student speakers mentioned, we celebrated our week of respect during the first week of October in all of our schools. And we did have activities for our students that celebrated the mentality of kindness and respect across all students within our school buildings. And this week, we're also celebrating School Violence Awareness Week, and similar types of activities developmentally appropriate, of course, are being conducted through announcements and other vehicles, mostly spearheaded by our mental health professionals, school social behavioral support specialists at the elementary, SACs, and guidance counselors at the middle and high school levels, and our anti-bullying specialists. Just a reminder that tomorrow is an early release day for all students across the district, and based on the district calendar, we do have 3 of those days spread across the year for students in K to 12. And I just wanted to mention, the value of that and how much we appreciate the communities and the board support. It is really important for our teachers to be able to continue their learning all year long. So we have these half-day releases where teachers are actually continuing their education. So we have, all different activities happening where they're engaged in learning experience that really do translate into positive things for the students that are in our classrooms each day. So we space them out across the year. We are also bundling them with time from some other meetings. So we have an extended time period for them to engage in those activities tomorrow. And there's some really great things that are going to be happening. And it is really a true benefit to the students in the end. As many mentioned, we had our first PIC meeting, our Parent Information Committee meeting last year, which has representatives from all of our 16 schools in attendance. Mrs. Doherty gave a transportation overview, which was great, gave some insight into how our transportation operates. Dr. Kerrigan gave information about the digital PSAT, and just to kind of piggyback on what Aiden said, we did have a few glitches, not our fault, college boards, it was widespread. I give a lot of credit to the guidance counselors, to the admin team, to Dr. Kerrigan, and IT. They all stayed the course and worked through those glitches, and we were able to successfully give the PSAT to our 10th and 11th graders. At that meeting for PIC, we also talked about GPA and class rank for our high school students. We had a lot of idea exchange, and we're working on some things behind the scenes as we rolled into Genesis this year. We do have some, tightening up of our transcripts to do and situations like that, but it was a great conversation, and there'll be more to come on those 2 topics as the year unfolds. I also gave a literacy presentation, which Mrs. Farley referred to, predominantly focused on, what kind of had been happening last year, where we are this year, and what the future of literacy in the district looks like. I will be including that whole presentation in my superintendent's update to the community on the last Friday of the month. So that way everybody has access to that. And it's really, really exciting stuff. Paying attention to a balance between high interest opportunities for our students to read, but also not minimizing the true importance of the science of reading and how individuals at a young age do encumber reading skills. Reading is not fundamental by any means. It is not intuitive. It is not innate. It is not like walking or talking. There is actually a methodology that marries with brain functioning in order to be able to get students to actually encumber foundational reading skills. So those things have to be married together for a successful literacy program. And that has been what we've been working towards and have had a significant amount of success in a short time by some of the things we're doing. Final things, just to make mention, the glitches with the PSATs, we weathered the storm, got through that. We did have some similar, technology is great when it works, but when it doesn't, with our cognitive abilities administration for students in 2nd and 5th grade. Small hiccup through our provider, Riverside Insights. They have assured us that the problem is remedied. They will be going forward with that administration tomorrow. It is 3 short batteries of assessments spread over 3 days, and it will give us really, really good information that we do not get from any other assessment that we give. It's more about aptitude and versus standards-based learning or an IQ score. So we want to make sure that we have a full complement of information to get this 360-degree view of the learner for a lot of reasons. Number one, personalizing instruction, and also trying to find where we need to provide additional support or even extended support for students who may be performing higher above not only grade level, but their peers. So that information will be important, and parents will eventually be receiving school reports for that. Finally, I had the pleasure, it was the highlight of my last couple of weeks, in having time to sit down with our students at both High School North and High School South First in student forums. They had terrific feedback on a variety of areas. I enjoyed the conversation very much. You know, really, when we talk to our kids, they do have great perspective because they are the consumers of why we're all here. So I think it's really important to connect with them regularly and truly find out what exists. So that information we are going to utilize to turn into, when we can, some action, because their feedback should stimulate that action on our behalf. I sat with yesterday middle schoolers. Now, when I went to High School North and South, you know, nobody's like, there were a couple of volunteers. It took a little while to get the conversation started. Eventually, we got the ball rolling at the high school level. The middle schoolers, I left there with like 4 pages of notes. I'm not kidding. They were fantastic. And they really, it wasn't 4 pages of like, can I have a vending machine? Can you like stop homework? It was 4 pages of things that really, really they put some thought into. And they are some things that I think we can work towards improving for them. So we're going to follow up with the rest of the middle schools. I'm meeting with those groups 3 times a year. And then I get to go to the elementaries, and that should be, that'll probably be 20 pages of notes. I don't know that I'll be able to write fast enough, but this has been extremely important, in my opinion, eye-opening for all of us to get a perspective from the most important people in the organization. So more feedback as I get it, but I know that there's an individual in the audience tonight that is here actually to speak about one of the topics, which I thought was excellent, because student voice is so important to what we do. But that's it. Thank you.
Yes, and just to clarify, that we keep lit, national.
Yeah.
Lit, I should
Like,
say.
yeah,
So they're just
yeah.
zero down to national.
Yeah, multiple districts across the area. We're experiencing high volume. So digital PSAT, first time for the administration. College Board gave a window. Most districts chose to stick with the, like what used to be like a 1-date paper and pencil assessment. So most districts chose to stick with that 1-date paper and pencil assessment date rather than kind of spread it across the window. And so there was a high volume on test day, and what we can gather is College Board just didn't anticipate that and wasn't ready to handle that. Eventually, they got their act together fairly quickly, actually, on the IT side of things, and it had to do with the app that they take the test through building. But again, they worked through it. Our IT and our admin team stayed the course, and you know, we didn't have too much of a disruption. Eventually, we got off the ground and moving in time, so nobody had to roll over to another testing date or into the next day.
Moving on to Mrs. Doherty.
Just want to bring the board's attention to the fact that annually, each board member submits a certification to me. I've received most of them from you already, that you have read and become familiar with the code of ethics for school board members, and by signing that acknowledgement, you are certified. So if, for those of you who have not submitted to me here at the meeting, but it's just an annual recognition of the code of ethics, and if you know that.
Great, thank you so much. Need a motion to approve the meeting minutes from regular workshop session 9/26, 10A and 10B. Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions.
I abstain from A and B.
Both of them.
I wasn't here.
Moving on to the motion to approve the business office consent agenda 12A through 12H.
So
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions. Need a motion to approve 13A, it's a superintendent of school consent agenda, 13A through 13N. That includes personnel as well on there, so just make sure everybody. Got it? Have a motion,
Second.
discussion,
Yes. Under personnel, I'm going to be voting no on number 9. I've watched over my years of experience the animosity that certain employees have gotten over people getting special treatment and more money. And I just don't feel that this appointment is the best appointment for central office, especially the superintendent's office. So I'll be voting no on that.
all in favor,
Aye.
opposed,
I am opposed on the hits. I'm voting yes on the, on 250832. And I'm voting yes on all the ones that are unfounded. And I'm voting no on all the ones that are founded.
I'm second on that as well. Everybody know, get ahead on. And 13M9, I'm assuming. you're in the- Right.
Yeah.
Everyone else is good? Old business? Does anybody have any old business? No?
No, I don't have all. Okay. Last Friday, I went to North's football game. They had pink out. And I have to tell you, I was totally amazed at the conduct of the students, the performances of all the teams. It was just an incredible night. When I first got here, it looked like Thanksgiving. The cars were parked all the way down to the funeral parlor. I've never seen a crowd like that unless it's Thanksgiving. So the amount of people there, the conduct, the performances, it was just great to see. I know that pink out for South is Friday night. I'm hoping that the rain holds out and that they get just as good of a turnout, and I'm sure they will. It's just exciting to see all of our students so engaged in their school spirit. And I really think that school spirit makes a big part of education. So I just wanted to put that out there. I also attended Anita's birthday party at Thorne. And I have to say, I go back to years because, you know, I was at Thorne graduate, my kids were, and I also worked there for many years. Carol Force and was the principal at the time that Corporal Thorne's history started coming out. And I don't know if we could find it, but she made a video and it was incredible. And it explained all the history, everything that they have. And it just goes back to what Anita was trying to tell us inside. She remembers everything for 99 years old. I forget things. She doesn't forget one thing. And she's got the energy of the Energizer Bunny because she's still willing and talking about what she's going to do next year. And to me, that was such an encouragement to our kids. It was very touching to see our students go up to her after she spoke and hug her and thank her. It was just, I just got goosebumps because they get it, they understand it, and they appreciate it. It's part of their education every year that they're at that school.
So is that the video that shows that they watch every
Yes, that's what Carol Force, the original principal that started that. So I just thought it was good to give her a shout out too, because she did a lot of work on that as well as Tom Lawson and a couple of people. Yes,
That was so awesome.
yeah, the video of the kids made was great. Yeah. I don't know. I guess
We did just make sure that the students have released.
Signed,
Yeah,
yeah.
we could look at that.
Yeah. Let's see, what else are we doing? Saturday, I replied to go to the High School South Hall of Fame. Looking forward to it, being somebody that's been here for quite a long time. A lot of those students I gave their diplomas to, and some of the employees I worked closely with, so it's very exciting to go superintendent.
You're gonna be honored at the game too, right?
Yes, and that's why I'm praying this morning. And the chances of Friday night, the rain level keeps dropping, so But the Hall of Fame should be real nice too. So looking forward to that. And that's all I have right now.
Anyone else for new business?
Yeah, I want to, homeschoolers, I guess. So I know that the homeschoolers been coming, you know, for the last 6 months. And, you know, we passed this over to curriculum. It somehow didn't make it out of curriculum, which some of us thought it would eventually get out of curriculum. And it didn't, and it kind of just kind of went on and on, or co-curriculum. So we are, it looks like policy's gonna touch on this.
We're meeting on
Thursday.
Thursday.
So it looks like for, you know, for everybody out there that's kind of, you know, following this whole thing, we spoke, it looks like some of them spoke back in April. I think they met with Mary Ellen. They also met with Mr. Vanilla as well. Then they came back again, spoke in July, and spoke with so the meeting that's happening on the 19th, I don't really see the need for it. I think we have everything we need. I don't think there's anything else that's going to come out of this meeting that's going to be, you know, shocking to everybody. I think we already have all the information to go forward with this. I'm not sure exactly how. I think it's been kind of back and forth on how we but because it didn't make it out of the curriculum. But I would like to see this get on the agenda, regardless of what happens in 2019, because we've been going on, and you know, these kids come out at every board meeting, right, and they speak amazing, and I just think it's time to get this on the agenda.
Anyone else for new business?
I'll just clarify that we invited, the policy committee invited them to come to the feedback. And we thought it would be a good opportunity for us to actually be able to get a policy committee and discuss things in a more open forum and in public comment. There's at least 3 or 4 policies that need to be amended. There's a lot of work that has to be done. So that's go through. It's not easy to get it simple. Vote yes or no.
But on the agenda portion of it, I don't see exactly what else would be. We can
Well,
talk
let's
about
be
it.
happy that you're on policy then.
What's that?
The thing you're on policy then, there's a lot of things to discuss.
Yeah.
Okay, so what, is there any other new business? We're gonna take it to policy, let's speak about some policy with family as well, and we'll see.
Okay, yeah, but eventually, I mean, I think it needs to be.
Exactly, input, take that same exact approach.
Sure.
Anyone else for new business? When I open the microphone up for public comment on anything you'd like to speak about, just let the voice state your name and address for the record.
My name is Belinda Reed, and I live at 10 East Court. For the last 6 months, I have been advocating for homeschoolers in Middletown to be given access to school sports and clubs. As tax-paying residents of this community, our children should have access to our district's extracurricular activities. What we are really seeking for our children is a choice. Let Dylan and Justin, my homeschool children, decide for themselves if they would like to try out for a team or join a club. I provided examples of neighboring districts that give homeschoolers in their communities access. We've uncovered there is no added liability to a district when giving homeschoolers access. Even the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association, which Middletown Public Schools are members of, has told districts in New Jersey for the last 12 years they can allow homeschool students access to school sports. They even equip districts like Middletown with a 1-page list on how to do it, which includes the academic criteria. I share testimonials from the Board of Ed in Brick and Homedale around the budget. The uniforms, equipment, and coaches are for the exact number of seats on each team. Whether the child on the team is enrolled or homeschooled doesn't change the cost. Just like in the other districts that say yes to homeschoolers, there will be families in Middletown who don't want their homeschool children to participate in their own school's extracurricular activities. But that is not a reason to deny those homeschooling families that do want this access from moving forward and finding a way to make this happen. Jack Tobacco, Frank Phone, and Superintendent Alphone, thank you for so graciously and generously inviting myself and other homeschooling parents to your policy committee meeting happening this Thursday. As I shared with you when I received your invitation, I expected to get an update on our cause at the August Board of Ed meeting. When that didn't happen, I thought we would get your answer in September. And here we are in the October Board of Ed meeting, and our question still remains. As you know, while I am always grateful for the opportunity to discuss our cause, it appears we won't get your official answer now until the November 20th Board of Ed meeting. And that is disappointing. We know you are not required to give our homeschool children access, but we also know you are able to. It is clear this board strongly believes in parental rights. So I know you support our right to choose an equivalent education that best suits our children. I then must conclude that your answer to this need is not to enroll our children in public school. So what is your answer to this unmet need? I know you care. I know you are here to help the children of Middletown be everything they can be. We know which current board members are in favor of giving homeschoolers in Middletown access. I hope you see that they have no stake in this cause. They do not have homeschool children. They are supporting this cause because they believe it's the right thing to do for our community. Just like the other districts in our state that say yes to homeschooling. Will the Middletown Board of Ed do what's right for all children in our community? We cannot wait to hear your answer.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Wu. I live on Michael Drive. I'm a homeschool 10-year-old, 4th grade. However, since being homeschooled, I just started 5th grade lessons in math and language arts. I am here to speak about the policy I do not think is fair. I think homeschoolers should be allowed to play middle school and high school sports. I'm not in middle school, but yet I have fellow homeschool friends who are, and it makes me sad they cannot play sports. I play travel baseball for River Plaza Riverside, and this team will end at age 12. After 12, I have nowhere to go. I want to play with my friends and build more relationships through sports. I also feel like I can be a leader on the field if I'm given the opportunity. My older brother Jack, who spoke to you a few months ago, is now in school in Old Ridge. He is running cross country and thriving on his team. He even has a homeschool kid on his team. I see how happy the kid is to be a part of the team and have relationships even though he is homeschooled. The kids welcomed him, made him feel accepted. The school made a way for it. I would like the policy change so homeschoolers will have a chance to play sports. Can you make a way for us? Thank you for your time.
My name is Leah Silverstein. I reside in Middletown, New Jersey. Again, my name is Leah Silverstein. I am a senior at Middletown High School South and one of the senior members of the color guard in the Middletown High School South Student Eagles Marching Band. I'm also in multiple departments of the performing arts programs at Middletown High School South. Upon receiving multiple certificates of excellence from the Board of Education for different events that have taken place in these departments, and a 3-time varsity athlete. On Friday, October 6th, the Middletown High School South Student Eagles Marching Band was supposed to attend and perform at the Red Bank Catholic football game. Instead of having the normal routine of a normal way football game, we were denied a place to be seated. We were denied a place to be seated by the athletic director of Red Bank Catholic and even some of the board members sitting right in front of me who were attending the game. The marching band is one of the things that makes the football game greater, but if there's no music, no big show, no halftime performance from the band color guard, how would it feel? At Middletown High School South, we've always had a place for the opposing band teams and student sections to sit. So why couldn't that happen at RBC? Any member in this district should not feel like they are unaccounted at any time during their time in the performing arts program in their high school career. The only reason that the arts department is still thriving is because teachers are keeping it alive. Money is spent in useless places throughout the district instead of going to the arts program in Middletown schools. For example, more money was spent on new projectors than giving the band rooms, the chorus rooms, cabinets, doors, chairs, new desks. I have watched the MHSS dance team go from a varsity to a junior varsity to a club, then back to a junior varsity, then back to a varsity team this year, just because we had a connection to someone who could give us a letter. Arts program is being chipped away each year because people aren't putting money where their mouths are. We are a very sports-centered district, but that does not mean that we should be just focusing on one thing instead of the bigger picture. The arts wing in the Middletown South School has not been renovated since the school was open, and the only reason that it is in good condition that it is that because the teachers and fundraising money are keeping it alive. Mr. Lawson, our principal, went to see his son's college football game, and his first question, and I quote, was, "Where is the band?" The district is doing nothing about keeping the quality of the arts in Middletown schools. If you think that what is happening to have the arts program function correctly is enough, you need to rethink what you have known about the arts program in the district. Thank you.
Live Meta, and I live in my house. My daughter Jaden is a sophomore at South and plays the tuba in South marching band. She has been in every South football game since joining the marching band in 8th grade. Her tuba weighs at least 40 pounds in its case. Needless to say, I was more than angry that at the RBC football game, she dragged her tuba on and off the bus and all around the RBC football field, all to never play a note. More importantly, I am saddened at the disrespect shown to our Middletown South musicians by the athletic directors and some adults at that football game. But in all honesty, I should have been standing here long ago. This incident has opened my eyes to the fact that our community has been disrespecting our Middletown musicians way before that football game. My daughter's tuba is in need of repair, as are many of the instruments our students play. We as a district have been chipping away at the time our students see a music. And these students are often moved off the field during pre-scheduled practices to accommodate another team. We send our marching band to competitions against other districts without the support they need to be competitive. Has anyone here been to a marching band competition? If so, you could see that it is not considered a second-rate sport by all. Our students proudly represent Middletown against schools that come with trailers and busloads of equipment, staff that outnumbers ours by far. As a district, we can do better, and we should do better. Why? Because our Middletown student musicians respect and support our entire community. They support our football team at games with music and cheers, at pep rallies and hall parades. They support our basketball team by playing and cheering at games. They support our theater group by providing pit bands. They support our school by playing at freshman orientations and open houses. Lastly, they support our community by marching in the Middletown and New York City St. Patrick's Day Parade, the Middletown Veterans Day Parade, and the Middletown Memorial Day Parade. In return, they at the very least deserve to have seats reserved for them at all South football games, uninterrupted practices, and working equipment. I am here to ask that our community show these students the respect and support they show us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ava Birkin, and I am 12 years old. I've been homeschooled for 3 years. I was having problems focusing and retaining the material or understanding much of math. It made me insecure about learning, and I never wanted to go to school. The program I use now allows me extra time on more difficult concepts, and also the option of moving forward on ones I get easily. But as a growing teen, I want more. We need to be able to participate in sports, clubs, and even fun social activities with other kids. We are the future. I want to be able to go to prom, dances, and group activities. I want to be able to experience those things, and I should be able to. We work just as hard as kids in public schools and deserve the same as them. We shouldn't be left out just because we are homeschooled. It almost feels like being shunned, and it makes me feel like there's an invisible line dividing me from the public school kids. You all have the choice to erase that line. Allow myself and all other homeschoolers in Middletown any and all resources to lift us up in a world that is trying to pull us down. We need all the tools we can get. Thank you for your time.
My name is Jessica Pendleton. I am Ava's mother. I've been homeschooling Ava since the COVID-19 pandemic. She's now in 7th grade. Through public school, Ava showed to have some issues staying on task. She also had a lot of difficulty, as she said, with math concepts. Although homeschooling has not been a fix-all for those things, it offers a wide variety of learning styles and methods for her to choose from so that she can understand the studies. It also offers her extra time she sometimes needs to grasp whatever she's having trouble with. Ava also excels in many other areas, reading, writing, and has a love for history. She's able to move forward to levels that challenge her through the homeschooling. Other than how and where she learns, Ava is just like every other young lady her age. She has dreams and goals and works hard moving towards them. She works as hard, maybe even harder than many of the school kids. We love homeschooling, but I would be lying if I said I can offer her everything she needs and wants through the home. There are certainly important aspects of school that she loses out on due to what I believe is a broken policy. By not allowing her to participate in team building activities, social activities, fun school activities, all those things she needs, you are fostering a divide between her and the community she may so want to serve one day. It doesn't have to be all or nothing in Middletown schools. It isn't in our neighboring towns. As board members and parents, I think you all know the right choice here. I know that you said that it's going to be a lot of extra work and nobody understands. We do. We all work very hard. And I think that these kids are showing you that they are worth the extra work. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Weinkiller, and I live at 6 Quaker Road, and my son is a tenor saxophone player in the High School South Music Department. The experience of being a part of multiple bands enriches his education and his life deeply. The depth of these opportunities afforded him is due overwhelmingly to the great dedication of his teachers, but also in part due to the extensive fundraising of the Parents Organization for the Music Department. I serve as the president of this group, and I am incredibly grateful for the great generosity of the Middletown community in supporting our efforts, as we must actively raise money to augment what the music department receives from the district. Tonight, I once again voice my support for increased funding for the arts. From an arts wing that has not seen improvements in 20 years, to instruments that have not been replaced for literally decades, to competing against other bands with much larger staffs and much greater financial support, to indications that our children and their talents are not as important as those of other groups, I ask for increased equity across the varied pursuits of all of our students, with the goal that no one group be made to feel inconsequential. I'm sure many of you have heard the marching band had to leave the RBC game as there was no place for them to sit. The marching band walked around, as you've heard, many of them carrying tubas, French horns, drum sets, in hopes of playing in support of their Eagles football team and cheerleaders. The fact that these kids who love what they do and work very hard at what they do could not play for their school left them feeling devalued, and this occurrence was sad and confusing. We ask that going forward, the appropriate person from our school district reach out to those schools we will travel to ensure enough room is put aside for our band. We believe the football team should have their field, the cheerleaders their sidelines, and the band the place to play their music. We also ask for increased efforts to show these students much deserved recognition for their successes and fair consideration for their efforts. I have always wondered why the trophy case in the arts hallway sits with broken shelves and broken light bulbs instead of being full of the numerous Count Basie awards and trophies awarded to high school staff. A curated display in celebration of these students would be such a source of pride. Similarly, we ask that the band's practice time on the field be respected, and we stop instances of being bumped from time we had reserved, as our kids' practice time is just as integral to their competitiveness and how successful they can be. The bands itself are very proud to support their teams, cheerleaders, welcome incoming students, honor our veterans, the military, and the community in parades. They are also assiduous in their efforts to play their music, march in step, compete, and succeed. Please give them their equitable share of resources. Thank you very much.
My name is Carmine Guardinelli. I live in Swimming River Road, on Swimming River Road in Winchester. Mr. President, I would like to express my appreciation for a chance to speak here and also thank you for giving me a moment. Mr. President, I fully agree with you when you say Middletown, New Jersey has the best students and teachers in the state. I am here this evening to speak about the arts and music programs that we have in our school system. Being a band parent, I've had the privilege of watching the Middletown South High School Marching Band for the past year and a half or so. I must say, our kids are absolutely the best. We are also very lucky because by far, we have the best and the most dedicated band director, band coaches, teachers on the planet for our music programs. They go so far above and beyond what is asked and expected of them that it's amazing, and I can't thank them. I can't help but notice when we travel with the marching band to the marching band tournaments all over the state, and we see the other schools that we compete against, it's very obvious that we are being restricted by our budget. Our kids even know it. They can obviously see the difference in the equipment, the props, and the amount of staff that's being supplied to the other schools. The Music Sponsor South volunteer program raises money for our kids and does an incredible job. Not to mention, it puts in tremendous amounts of hours of their own time, and I absolutely would like to commend them as well. For some unknown reason to me, the Middletown North High School doesn't even travel to their competitions, to any competitions with their marching band. And I really don't even know the reason for sure, other than what I'm told, which I'm told it's a budgetary issue, which if it's true, it's an unfair shame. I just don't believe the arts and music programs here in Middletown are getting budgets that are comparable to other towns in the state that are similar to ours. I would just like to request that the board considers analyzing the arts and music budget for Middletown schools to see if we are comparable to the other towns in the state that are similar to Middletown. I feel we should just be giving the kids in our town, our kids in our town, a level playing field when it comes to arts and music. So I would just like to plant a seed in your ears that going forward, you consider increasing the budget for the arts and music program for the students in Middletown. Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you. And not travel.
No, they
Okay, I just thought I was doing something that I would do instead. Okay.
I'm sorry, you're wrong for asking questions. I don't know how much. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think the football team and the band, is there information you could provide us?
Just good to.
Yeah, I think it's important to clarify a couple things. We were made aware of this situation as it was transpiring that night of the football game. Actually, Mr. Capone was the one that reached out to me immediately as it was unfolding. And myself, Mr. Kirkpatrick, and Mr. Carroll were diligently working behind the scenes to try to get this rectified. Unfortunately, a couple of unfortunate things happened. Number one, the bus was late coming to pick up the band. That was number one. That is a small venue. RBC Count Basie Field does not have a huge bleacher section. It was revealed to us later on after investigating all of this and reaching out to the other school's AD, who is a new AD, did not realize that you would have to designate a section for the band. So we have spoken to RBC's AD directly to say this is unacceptable to us. And we had a situation where our kids did not feel welcome. There was a space on the home side, which we were not comfortable putting our students there, for obvious reasons. There are separate bleachers for a reason. And the other AD was not warm to that idea either. So unfortunately, all of these things kind of culminated in a very, very bad situation that we do not agree, we do not support. We've expressed our discontent to the other school, and we are going to ensure that something like this does not happen again. But please know, as soon as we found out about this information, the group that handles this type of thing, we're trying to work behind the scenes to rectify it. But unfortunately, sometimes these things aren't easy because you're working, Mr. Lawson was at the game, Mr. Capone was at the game, they were trying to fix it on the ground. Mr. Carroll was at the North game, and everyone else was kind of remotely trying to get this organized. And there was a point in time where Mr. Ragaseo said, hey, I don't think we're gonna have a spot to sit. He didn't want to put the kids in a further position of discomfort, so he made the decision to bring them back to school. But please know, we do not believe this is acceptable, and we certainly believe that the arts program in both of our schools and across the district is extremely important. I've had a conversation as recently as October 9th. There are some teachers sitting here in the audience I see, where I met with the entire Fine and Performing Arts department to get their feedback on what needs to change. So you can have my promise that we are looking at that to try to recraft some of the structures that exist, because you are absolutely right. There needs to be something different happening here, because at the very least, we want our students to feel empowered and proud, and I know they're proud of what they do, but as I said before, we need to celebrate all of that for all of our students. So I just wanted to make sure I clarified some of what actually happened behind the scenes, and I know you're upset and disappointed, and we never want to disappoint our students. And unfortunately, as fast as we were working, it is just something that we could not make happen. And I apologize for that, because, while it's at another venue, we have to take ownership and do things proactively to make sure that that does not happen again for you guys. Okay, so we hear you, and thank you for coming. Is there an opportunity to one of them? Maybe for homecoming or something? Well, there are additional home games. I believe.
No, I know that, but I'm just, make up an extra, and then this one comes
I don't know, we can definitely look into it. I mean, I think, in my opinion, they should be performing at every football game. So the remainder of the football games, our goal is to have them perform. Obviously, anything less than that would be unacceptable. But I just wanted to make sure you all heard it from me, because I was involved. And I know there's a lot of, kind of telephone happening, and I wanted to hear it straight from the source, and we own that, and I apologize for that. But please know, we tried everything in our power to rectify the situation that was happening.
I'll just add to that, I was there. So I stated with my family. And I had my two little sons on my lap. The second I heard what was happening, Mrs. Elphone will verify this, I was extremely upset. And that was the first call I made to Mrs. Elphone. I said, get these children in there where they're supposed to be. And unfortunately, that did not happen. RBC took their stance. And unfortunately, that's something that I do not tolerate myself. And it's very hard to absorb that when I was passionate about trying to get the children back into a spot and a position. Okay.
So thanks for your comments. My name is Trish Wells, Construction. I'm again going to speak about the situation, but I'm going to bypass some of the stuff that you've already talked about. I do want to talk about the arts program
and give some information that that was shared with us by Mr. Exeo. In the elementary schools, kids receive about 8 hours per year of instruction in music and another 8 hours per year in art. That amounts to just about 3 total days out of 180 days of the school year. And if you're calculating, that works out to 1.67% of their total school year. And that's just not enough. Even with that, every year, tons of kids pick up an instrument or they pick up a paintbrush and they begin to create art, whatever art is to them. And yeah, there are a lot of squeaks and strange noises and really bad rhythms coming out of their rooms, and I can attest to that. But by the time they reach middle school, if you've never been to a middle school band concert, please go. It's amazing the difference that instruction gives them. Mr. Kirkpatrick, you and I have sat through concerts at Thompson, and it's so impressive. Not just the number of kids up there, but what they do and the excitement of the bands that are live. When they get to high school, it really ramps up from there. And if you're lucky enough to have a child who's been in the marching band, I'm now 6 years into the marching band because I have one who's graduated and one who's a senior. To watch them perfect their art is really, truly impressive. They go from these little bitsy kids who can't even squeak a recorder to someone who's carrying a tuba and really just making it happen. The pride in what they do is so evident. And it just hurt. It just hurt on Friday to have them turned away. I don't discount anything you're saying. I appreciate all the effort that was made. But the bottom line is they felt dismissed. They felt devalued. And us as parents really felt that too. I have personally been part of the Music Sponsor South for the entire time my kids have been in the band. I have done every fundraising. I volunteered in every position. I've served food in the food booths. I've baked for bake sales. I've donated stuff, whatever it took to help them get a little bit more. I heard the other night that the music department's budget, I am not a public speaker, is $3,600 per year. We make more than that on one Music in the Parks event, but that only happens because of the parents and the kids volunteering for those days. If not for that extra fundraising that we all do, the kids would not have a trailer. By the way, North wouldn't either, because we gave North ours when we got ours. They wouldn't have a tow vehicle to be able to tow the equipment on and off the field when we go to competitions or at South, because we hiked up that hill. It's not easy. There's a lot that they wouldn't have because we don't fund them. We don't fund them. I don't even have a child in Middletown Schools anymore. My daughter's on vacation, so I don't even have a child here. But all I'm saying is, please fund the arts. Please give them something more and make them feel like the football players feel, like the soccer players feel, like the swimmers feel, who are getting a $25,000 contract to go swim someplace. I think if we got $25,000 for the year, I think we'd all cry collectively. It would just be amazing. So please show them. Don't just say it, but show it. We need that. And Middletown needs it. Thank you.
The front facility in analysis, north and south and hospital.
I just want to comment on stuff is that Alan Burns, 28 Todd Drive, Middletown section. I just want to comment on the homeschooling kids. I totally think they deserve a shot to attend after-school programs. If we don't do that, then we're failing them. I mean, I pay taxes in Middletown. I'm sure their parents pay taxes in Middletown. My kids don't even go to school anymore, but they deserve a shot, and they don't deserve to sit at home. I mean, I guess homeschool is legal, right? It is legal. So, I mean, they're not breaking any law. It's our job to figure out problems. If the problem's too big, I think as a board, that's why you guys are here. So please don't shut this little kid out that's going to lose his team in 2 years. All right. So find a way to get them in school and get them in the programs. I think that's what we need to do as parents and board members. Thank you.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Jay Rafferty. I reside on Oak Hill Road in Middletown Township, New Jersey. I'm a senior at High School South and one of the presidents of the Senior Executive Board. I'm here today to offer student input on something I feel quite passionately about, and I know my fellow seniors at South do as well.
That would be allowing Middletown seniors to leave campus for the duration of lunch blocks 3 and 4. I recently had the privilege of attending Mrs. Alphone's Superintendent's Forum, where many ideas and concerns were addressed. At this forum, I saw it fit to ask about allowing seniors to leave campus during lunch. Allowing seniors at both high schools this privilege would offer multiple benefits, and the idea has been well received by our school community and by my fellow seniors. I've addressed a way that this system could be structured and how we could minimize the margin of error in relation to the abuse of said system. Firstly, similarly to the Senior Flex program, parental consent should be required to participate in this privilege. Additionally, the school recently received new systems for scanning in and out of certain areas of the building using student IDs. With these new scanning devices, administration and security would be able to monitor who enters and exits the building during lunch and at what times. Seniors leaving for lunch should only be able to exit and enter the building through the front entrance where security is present to ensure safety for our schools. As for the benefit of allowing students to leave campus during those blocks, it forces our seniors to take on the responsibility of making sure that they're present where they need to be, when they need to be. Building this life skill early on is something that I feel is so important to having a well-rounded education in addition to the things that you learn in the classroom. I hope that the board gives this due consideration, and thank you for your time and attention.
Anyone else like to make a public comment? Seeing no more coming to the microphone, I wish to close the public comment and a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Opposed, abstentions. Have a great